I didn't kill the old me, I just let him move on. Because I've come to realize that it's not that all of me was bad. There was just a lot of wrong things and misguided actions and stuff that made my life worse and made me suffer. But as a core person, as a soul, I was still good. I still had ambition. I still had drive. And so I realized that I'm not trying to kill who I am now to become someone better. I'm simply trying to learn from my past self or my current self in the future to move on, to move forward. So, for example, everyone makes mistakes, and there's always lessons you can learn from those mistakes. And learning lessons from mistakes you've made is what I mean. You don't sit in the trauma just to sit there, and you don't hate yourself for what you did in the past, or you shouldn't. Instead, you should view it from a higher perspective, from a higher lens. Look back at it and learn what you can from it. And then allow your younger self to rest, move on, because you got it from here. And your future self will take it from there. And your future self, after that, future self will take it from there. The idea of killing your younger self is more like you need to become a completely different person. You need to and destroy that version of yourself who's lazy and who doesn't do the right things, makes the wrong decisions, and doesn't live life in an advantageous or a good way for your future self, for becoming who you want to be and living the life you want to live ultimately. But I look at it as I grow older, as time passes, I learn more and more, my perspective on things change, I become smarter, I start understanding more about my intelligence and what I'm capable of, and how I can redirect. Because intelligence, smart is what you know. So geeks, right? They're smart. I mean, that doesn't mean they can't be intelligent, but geeks in general they're smart. They have a lot of knowledge on whatever it is. But intelligence is more how you can move through life, what you can learn from things, how you learn, how quickly you learn, how you make a mistake and then you redirect back in the right direction, and you keep doing that over and over, and that's how you find out how to live your perfect life. It's through trial and error. There's always an equal opposite for everything. So for any bad you go through, there's good, and for any good you go through, there's going to be more bad, but that's how it's supposed to be, in the sense of you'll grow, which is a good thing, and then you'll hit another roadblock, or something else will knock you off course, but then you redirect and then you'll grow, and it's an infinite cycle of growth and development. And so the way I view it is, you want to look from your higher lens and perspective and who you are now, because I'm sure you're either more intelligent, like in terms of you have a higher perspective or view of life than you did 3 years ago, maybe not, but if you start self-improving, you will inevitably start changing the way you view things and the world and your life and responsibilities and the importance of certain things and how wasteful other things are. And so I prefer to look back and not hate myself. We all make mistakes, we're human. And so I don't think you should hate yourself for what you did, but I do think that you should look back at it. I almost have a conversation with your younger self. Remember how you felt back then and why you felt that way, and understand from a higher view why that's wrong or that's not okay, or what you should have done back then, or what you should have fixed, right? What you should redirect. And then you do it now. And that's how you grow, because you just learn from your past experience. Instead of killing him, you just learned from him and moved on. You allowed him to fade away because you're becoming someone better, someone else, or a grown-up version of him. So I guess I'll tell you a little story. This was semi-recent. It was 3 months ago. So I'd say I hated myself till probably about 16, 17 years old. And then I still didn't exactly like myself, but I was less self-critical, and I started, at least working out, and I started doing little things to better my life, even if it was overall a mess, and I was like just a druggie pretty much, and yeah. But when I was like 14, which is when I started smoking actually, like weed, I really hated myself. I was fat. I was a big boy, and I had no how to say it? I want to say social skills, but I wasn't like socially adept, and like I didn't have enough self love, stuff like that. So I let the wrong people into my life, and that fucked me up a lot mentally, because the people who are around you, or the things that are around you, influence you deeply when you're around them a lot. And so I really had like a terrible view of myself back then, and I never really went back and considered that it's okay that I was like that, because I was still learning and I was still young. I always just viewed it as I hate myself, right? And about 3 months ago, I went back. I'm into energy and spirituality and stuff, so I went back and I like talked to that younger version of myself. Like I meditated, and then I got into like this state, this flow where I kind of just tapped into those memories, bro. And I felt a lot. I felt deeply, I fucking cried and shit because it was very interesting. It was a unique experience where like I just got hit with like sudden burst of emotion, like holy shit, he's seeing me now. Like that's kind of like what the younger self was feeling, right? And it was quite interesting, just like going through that process of like talking to my younger self, or understanding my younger self, right? And at the end of it, I felt lighter, I felt better, and I felt like an anvil was on my shoulders and it just fell off. And like it's something I didn't even realize was there. Like it wasn't something I really consciously thought about ever. And so it was definitely an interesting experience, and I'm glad I did it. And I think the alcohol thing is what's making me make this video, but that event is what is the inspiration for this video in a sense. But like the reason I'm making it now is because of that. And yeah, like I talked to myself about how it was okay to be fat. It was okay that I got my heart broken, that I picked the wrong friends because I didn't know any better. There was, I didn't live enough life or experience enough pain to have grown past that stuff yet. But now I have, right? I learned all those lessons from that version of me. Even if it took a while, obviously, I went into the same type of cycles again, and I got my heart broken again, and I got betrayed by friends again. But over time I learned more and more lessons from whoever I was, and then after growing a little, I'd look back and I'd change, right? And I did that subconsciously, like most people do, but when you start doing it on a conscious level, it becomes something a lot more powerful and something more potent, and you grow faster. It becomes more exponential as opposed to linear. And so yeah, I let him move on, and he flew away like magic. He just flew away, and yeah, that's the story. I don't really have too much depth to go into this. It was just kind of something I wanted to talk about. Think anything else? No, I mean just don't judge yourself. Just learn from yourself. We all make mistakes, but what makes you a greater human is learning from those mistakes. It's okay to be a loser. It's just not okay to stay a loser. It's okay to be fat. It's just not okay to stay fat. It's okay to be lost. It's just not okay to stay lost. You need to move. You need to figure it out. And the best way to do it is reflection. Your brain is a supercomputer. It can figure out puzzles and anomalies. It can figure out puzzles and problems. That's what it's meant to do. You just need to put it in the position to do that, not just feed it a bunch of fucking brain rot, or even just a bunch of self-improvement shit. If that's all you do, if you don't take any action on it, you need to put it in a position where it can solve a problem and create and bring out its abilities. And reflection is one of those ways where it'll grow a lot, because it's having fuel. It has fuel, but you're also sitting there why? Yeah, you're curious. You're asking questions. You're trying to understand something, and so your brain will put the pieces together. even if it's not instantaneously. Thank you for watching. If I resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, I implore you to subscribe and turn on noties so you never miss a future upload. If you'd like to know me on a more personal level, you should check out my blog, Joseph Marrone. The link will be in the description. And you better like, boy.